this meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Secretary to note roll call.
All members present, Dave via Zoom.
Board correspondent report. Pat.
Well, it's going to be pretty short because Madison is really not too busy. The Department of Public Instruction received the final confirmation on the ESSER funds. They have to approve the plan, and Wisconsin's plan got approved, so now we can use those funds. The state superintendent convened the first meeting of a new state superintendent's reading advisory council. Their focus is going to be on early reading through grade 2. It's going to be online, but there's not going to be any public participation. You can view it, but you can't participate in the meetings. And then
Part of the group, do you know, or didn't they list it?
it said here, school, let's see, no, it doesn't tell you. It doesn't tell you. We'll figure. They talk about shared with council members because the information is shared with council members because parents and families are students, first teachers, but it doesn't tell you that parents or students are going to be on the doesn't say. But anyway, once they get that part done, then they're going to formulate recommendations to the DPI.
Okay.
And then from there, the council's going to shift its focus into processes for reading improvement planning at the state, district, and school levels. So what that means is, this goes through, it's going, probably mandates, and most likely unfunded.
Mm-hmm.
That's usually how it works. Early literacy was a focus during the 21-22 legislative session. And there were bills calling for massive overhaul of the system. They introduced in both houses. It got as far as the governor's desk, and he vetoed them. And if I remember right, I think it was because it was unfunded.
It was a whole lot of additional assessments, a whole lot of reporting, a whole lot of other things that, again, they didn't allow for any funding for additional staff to do that.
New state mandates related to screening, assessments, interventions, parental notifications, and reporting requirements.
Right.
Which is costly and timely.
Right.
So we'll kind of see where that
I mean, I
ends
don't
up.
think anybody disagrees that the reading literacy thing is, let's hope they can come up with, that this advisory group can come up with some good ideas that.
I almost think that individual schools could handle that on their own.
Yeah, local control, we're always that, yeah.
Let the schools have a little bit of control over that because, you know, the teachers are in the classroom, they're in the trenches, they know. Yes. So I don't think that.
What would be nice is if the advisory group could come up with a set of resources for different districts to tap into and decide what was right for them, and not have it just a cookie cutter, one size fits all for every district. So I guess we'll wait and see.
We'll have to wait and see. And lastly, the library aid money came out, $40.6 million throughout the state of Wisconsin. Our portion of that is about $32,000. And of course, now, you know, there's strings attached to that, like for purchases, limited to library books, instructional materials, computers, school purchases for the school library media, but all the items purchased can only be done so after consulting with the DPI licensed library media specialist. So you can have this money, but we gotta oversee how you spend it.
What else is memory? Just make it complicated.
Yes, yeah, and those ESSER funds, I remember these ESSER funds, well, 14 pages or 26 pages.
26,
There were districts that declined the money because of the hoops they had to go through to get these funds.
Yeah, and what a shame.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
we're gonna do everything we can as a district to utilize those funds in a way that they will approve.
I mean, there's billions of dollars not used yet, allotted to schools that has not been used, so we'll see.
Thank you. Questions or comments? All right, we will keep moving. Board CISA report. Anything, Rick?
Well, we had our annual meeting. There's 37 districts in the CISA 7 region. 18 of them were represented. And of those 18, 11 were already on the board. So, which we have our regular meeting after then. So there were 4, and the way CISA works, it's not the person that gets voted in, it's the school district. So if Algoma will have this seat until either we get voted out or we decline it.
Okay.
And so there was 4 openings like that. We had 7 people running, 7 districts that put their name in, and we had no changes on the board. Which, we got a new administrator coming in there too, so I kind of wanted to keep things status quo. I will be meeting with the new administrator. Her name is Colleen Tim in August. She wants to have a sit down with all the board members, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
So with all the board members,
Each individual, yeah.
interesting.
In your district, figure out where I want to meet her and
Good.
what I want to eat.
Yeah, important details there. Any questions for Mick? Okay, well, Julia Vandervest was part of a wonderful graduation ceremony yesterday, so congratulations to her. I don't have any particular misconceptions or rumors.
Yay.
Yeah. At least that I'm aware of. Please, if people have any, please contact the school district or somebody you trust within the school district to give you reliable information. And you said nobody signed up for public participation? We're moving right along here. Board president's announcements. I guess I will just sort of continue my feeling of graduation is what we are all about. Getting our kids through and giving them what they need to move on in life. Yesterday was a wonderful ceremony. Always makes me feel so proud. And the kids were great. This particular class experienced all 3 years of the pandemic. Yeah, so it was not an easy high school experience for them, but they came through, and as one of the speakers said, it ended up, sort of going in a blink of the eye, which they had heard would happen but didn't believe at the beginning of it, and wished the next blink would be good. But yeah, the bands and the chorus and the slideshow, everything was lovely. So congratulations to the class of 2022, and thank you, Katie, for putting together such a nice program. Then moving right into Superintendent Business Manager's report. Obviously, Nick was unable to be here today, but he also wanted me to give his congratulations to the class of 2022, particularly their resiliency through all of the things that they had to deal with each year, with every single year being a little adaptation to normal instructional expectations and things, and missing out on a lot of the things that they had always planned on. And he said they were just a great group of kids, and he wishes them all the best.
And every single kid graduated.
What?
Said every single student graduated.
Did they?
Every single student graduated. I think that needs to be, said out loud.
Yes.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
and I think that, I will say, you can be congratulated for that. Every one of the leadership team, all of the teaching staff, especially given these last 3 years. And also given, I would like to think that the fact that our students had the different pathways to graduation, assisted in that, because that's what we're all about. Let's meet the kids where they're at, what they need, so that they can graduate and be productive citizens and have a good life. So, yay, that is a very happy thing to hear. All right. We did not put any reports from you hardworking staff because we figured that you were busy with end of the year things. So we won't have any official reports, but if there's anything any of you would like to say.
Sure.
Okay.
I can give an I can give an elementary school update, and then I don't know, Marie or Katie, if you have anything to add. I feel like since we came back from spring break, we've just kind of hit the ground running. It's kind of felt like one big long day full of all different exciting things. At the elementary school, it's always, the end of the year is always kind of exciting, but also bittersweet because you're kind of wrapping up things from the school year. So teachers are preparing end of the year celebrations, gifts for home. There's all the end of the year assessments, report cards. So they're like closing out the school year while at the same time preparing to be ready to go once August comes and we're back in school already. So the teachers have been busy just kind of doing both of those things. But there's been a lot of fun things sprinkled in. We have, May is usually our month of field trips. So every week since probably being back from spring break, we've had grade levels doing different adventures out and about. They sprinkle in some beach field trips, some park field trips. They're just kind of going all over the place. Our sixth graders came up here and got a tour of the middle school. That was last week. And then this week, I think we have like 5 things every single day that's happening. We have the end of the year bash coming up on Wednesday. So that is hosted by our PTS. We have music, games, inflatables. We're running another book fair during that time in the library. We're keeping our fingers crossed for good weather.
What time is that, Katie?
It's from 3 to 6 on Wednesday. So it'll start right after school and then go until 6 o'clock. Carjack's food truck is coming again to serve food. The Ice Clouds truck will be there. I could go on and on. So that'll be fun. We have on Friday, which is our last day of school, our end of the year award show first thing in the morning. We have all of our 4K graduations that afternoon. We have our 6th graders who are at Camp Unalaya right now, Monday through Wednesday, so they're gone. We have 6th grade promotion coming up on Thursday at 2 o'clock. We also, a couple other highlights, we had our 5th and 6th graders plan another school dance. So they had a Hawaiian themed dance this past Friday. They once again collected donations, and this time all donations went to the VIP. So they presented that check to them before the dance. And that was a lot of fun. Mr. Schmidt DJ'd that one this time around. So he had a very nice setup with some lights and everything. So it was extra special. And then I also wanted to give another shout out to the PTS because they've gone above and beyond this year, not only with planning the bash coming up on Wednesday, but they've just been really creative in finding unique ways to fundraise for different ways to contribute back to the school. So they just wrapped up their meat sale, their salmon meat sale fundraiser. They sold nearly 1,000 boxes of hamburgers and hot dogs combined. So that's about, I think the initial numbers were like 45 more boxes than last year, but that's a lot. Yeah.
And that all comes from Solomon's, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
You ever had a salmon hot dog?
I have about 80 of them if you want any. It's always a hit, and it just, they kicked it off last year for the first time, and this year they did even better. So they've just gone above and beyond. And all the money that they collect from that, they invest back in the school. So this past fall, they put in new playground equipment. They're looking at putting in a little bit more. And then also they're still exploring options for some solid surfacing, some poured surfacing to make our playground more accessible for our students. And then we also, the last thing I'll add, even though I know I'm missing something, is summer school. So that will kick off then on Monday, June 6th. So the teachers will have a couple days to get ready and then that'll kick off right away the following week. So just a few things going on.
So with summer school registration, that's done already,
Summer school
right?
registration
Was
is
it a
done.
pretty
Yeah.
good registration?
Yep, we had more registrants, if that makes sense, than we did last year. So, yeah, our classes are pretty full,
Good.
but that's a good thing to have. So, I don't know if you guys want to add anything.
Yeah.
At the high school, we had our senior awards night last week Wednesday. There's over 30 scholarships given out, which I thought was awesome considering there's only 30 kids in the class. Obviously, it wasn't like 30 separate kids, but the fact that there's 30 given out, I thought that was a really great number. The same night, we had 2 members inducted into the National Honor Society, so we kind of did one big celebration. Had cake and just a little gathering after.
Wait, was that for the, what was that for the charter?
No, that
No.
was the
National Honor Society.
Okay, I'm trying to get my notes straight here.
Okay,
That's right.
Yeah, so senior awards and National Honor Society
Okay.
are combined together.
Okay. My mind isn't working.
Hurrah.
Okay.
Whitney Ebert and Andy Kramer are going to be running a summer strength and conditioning class for students. Is it 5th grade or not?
I think 4th grade.
4th grade?
Yep, entering 4th grade.
Throughout the whole summer. So I think they've had pretty good enrollment so far with that. It gives our kids something extra to do, which
Right.
is really nice.
Yeah.
Especially at the middle school, high school level, where a lot of kids just don't have anything to do during the day. So I'm really excited about that. Last week we had the Wisconsin Idea Tour come through school and check out a lot of the things that Algoma has been doing, as well as ABA. So it was really neat to be able to talk to the people from the Wisconsin Idea Tour and just kind of hear how in awe and in shock they were about the amazing things that are going on in our school.
Say that again.
And where were they, and where were they from, where were they from?
The Wisconsin Idea Tours, they're all from Madison.
IDEA, yeah.
What was it?
It's the Wisconsin Idea, just capital Idea, IDEA tour. I thought it was pretty fun to see a big Badger coach sitting in front of the wellness center.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't having you say it again because of her, but I think you need to hear that.
Yeah.
That
And
they,
it was pretty cool to see them interacting with the students as well, because there was a kind of like a meet and greet after the tour. The students from ABA all had like a name tag on that said "Ask Me About," and was like either one of their projects they were doing, or why they were in ABA, or you know how ABA has helped them. And then everybody from the Idea Tour said "Ask me about blank," so whatever they do at the university or some of their passions. So just being able to watch them mingle with our students was
and I think they would have loved to have mingled for a lot
Yeah.
longer, but they were on a specific tour thing, so they had to get up and they were going to Door County for something.
yeah, I mean, I had multiple ideas also, like, we just don't understand how like, students can do this.
A small school district like this can do all of this, yeah.
I was like, I wish my sister's school in New Jersey could do this. I was like, they can't.
Yeah.
Have the
Just
right
do it.
mindset and right partnerships and right people, so. We also have a Michigan tour this week, so there's people from Michigan coming in. It'll be kind of the same format on Thursday. So it'll be, I think there's 2 people from Michigan, but then other people in the network have kind of heard that we're doing another tour, so if there's others just kind of trickling in to check things out. ABA went on a trip to Madison last week, so it was overnight Thursday and Friday. And I got to talk to Abigail about it today, and she's like, it was just so cool, because a lot of the kids had never been to either a big city or
Right.
barely out of Algoma. She's like, one kid was literally taking pictures of everything, like, I can't wait to show my mom this, and I can't wait to show my mom that. But they did kind of like a little bit of something for everyone, so there was an art museum, they did the zoo, they did a Capitol tour, they did a campus tour. They just did a whole lot of everything to meet everyone's interests. Abby said the kids were awesome, they were so respectful, even like the kids who might not be interested in art were respectful to the kids who are, you know, geeking out in the art gallery. And they went to a botanical gardens as well, so, she said it was just such an awesome trip for
Yeah.
everyone. They can't wait to go on one next year.
And don't forget the Algoma Venture Academy Open House.
Oh, yeah, the open house
It's
was
been a
awesome,
busy
that was
week.
last Wednesday. The amount of people there was absolutely just stunned. The kids did amazing, each kid had to present their project that one of the projects they've been working on throughout the year. Just to like listen to some of the kids talk, I mean, they talk like they're 25, 30 years old and they're in 8th grade. Yeah, there was a ton of people there, the kids got to just showcase what they've been working on all year. And I think we definitely had a lot of parents who were like, I think I'm gonna talk to Abby further, and
Yeah, I
we may have
think,
recruited a few kids that way.
I really hope we can continue to do more of this kind of thing, because people actually coming in and seeing what we're doing is the way to
It's a good thing.
understand it.
It's a good thing.
And I was really pleased too with the turnout. I mean, I know, somebody had said at some point, do we have a sign-in sheet? And it was like, oh, no, but that's a good idea. So there were more that were there than were even on that sign-in sheet, and I saw a lot of names when I was leaving. So, but that is the way, that people are gonna understand what we're doing and help celebrate with us and feel good, feel even better about what we're doing in the district.
There's a film crew there from US Venture that will be making a video to kind of showcase ABA. So they were in and out of the open house, but then they were also set up in the venture space up there, interviewing parents, interviewing students, and other community members. So that video should be out sometime in August. They're gonna use it for their big US Venture golf outing this year. So
And that is where?
the golf outing is usually, there's like 5 different golf courses that they use.
Okay.
Because it's huge. Teal and I work it every year, but there's some golf courses in Green Bay that they use, most of them in the Fox Valley, but there will be thousands of people that will be seeing that video. So.
Yeah, another proud moment. Yeah. Excellent.
I was at during the day with the people from Madison, and then I stopped in before my choir practice for the AVA. I was impressed the whole day with the students and how well they spoke, how articulate they were, how they knew the content, they knew what they were doing through the whole day. The kids in the traditional school setting, the kids in AVA, fantastic, yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. I mean, the kids in the Algoma Venture Academy, when you were going to the different stations and you were describing their projects, but they'd also describe what learning targets they had that went toward the state standards in terms of, it was very
Impressive.
impressive.
So much passion,
Yes,
enthusiasm.
yeah, so, very, very good. Yeah, we are ending the year with a bang. I would say, this Thursday's tour, if there are
Oh, it's Thursday?
school board members that didn't get to go to the IDEA tour, it might
Do
be
you have any kids on
worth
Thursday?
your while because it just makes your day.
When does that start, Katie?
I can email that to you.
Yeah, send an email out.
It's gonna, if there's more than 4 of us, we gotta post, there'll be 4 of us, we gotta post it, so.
Well, I won't go again.
Yeah, but I mean, if we 4 of us decided to go,
Right,
it's gonna be posted, so.
yeah, we could just shoot a thing off to Tammy to post it just in case. Yeah, wonderful things happening as we are tying up our school year, so. Anything else anybody wants to add? Okay, we'll keep going. We had a bunch of committee meetings this month. Public Relations Marketing Committee meeting, May 5th.
Well, we talked a lot about things to welcome Jesse into the district and how to get the word out about that. And we'll be working on Wolf Review coming out before the end of the summer, and some public appearances over the course of the summer. So lots of exciting things.
Yeah, I was happy to see a front page Star News.
I didn't get the Star this weekend.
Really?
It was a
Oh,
nice
I
article.
need one.
Yeah, very nice
yeah,
article.
front
I think the
page
gas
he
stations have
made.
them for free.
So, yeah, and I think it was a very nice article. I think it was a very nice article in terms
Yes.
of Jesse as well as his representation of the district, so, and his excitement to join us, so, yeah, so that was good. Safety committee meeting.
We spoke at length about the proposed SRO contract and the recent threat response from the bomb threat, and we decided to meet with the mayor and the chair of the PPP committee, which happened today.
Okay, all right, we'll get a report on that at the next meeting. Okay,
Mhm.
so things are moving forward on that.
Yes.
Okay,
We're a lot further after today than we were
good.
last time.
Yeah, we
Good.
are.
Well, and my main aim, obviously, other than working out the details and the negotiations in terms of hopefully retaining the person sitting at the back of the room here, because I think that's such good work with the kids. So hopefully we can come up with something that works well for the school and the city. But I'm very hopeful also that we come away from when you are finished with your meetings of feeling of that everybody has a plan if something should happen again, so that everybody knows and feels comfortable. So I'm sure you'll be getting into that as well. Policy and Practice Committee meeting. Well, that's a fun one, all the policies. Neola, who we had agreed to go with so that we would have everything that we need to comply with all the federal and state and all the changing regulations, comes out with a mass update. Just they go through themselves all the different policies and then send out a mass amount of them to the different districts that have paid for their services. And then basically our role is to go through them and personalize them for the district. And you will see under action, there are a lot of updates that are just listed that we are not putting to the whole board because they are basically filling in the things that are just specific to our district, like a title of the person that's in charge, or
Just clerical, some of them are just clerical updates.
so it is just personalizing it to the district, fill in the blank with who it would be in our district and that kind of thing. So so the policy committee will look at those, make sure that they are correct, and then send them to this forum in terms of getting them approved, after which then they will go into the policies online. You also received in your packet the wonderful new policy, and so that was also the decision of the policy committee that any new policy, brand new policy that isn't just a update or a clarification of what's already, that everyone on the board would have the opportunity to look at the entire packet of it. This one being Title IX, and it was 20 pages. So, this is first reading. I think Nick explained in the email to us that we don't have a lot of option to change much of this. Again, it's just, we can't change the law. And on the very back of it, it talks about all the different Wisconsin statutes that it is meeting through this policy. But if you were able to weed through the legalese, we have certain little options at times which would have an X in it, which Nick had gone through and done sort of the first run through.
Sorry.
And You're late for the meeting?
Yeah, I guess so.
Had done the first run-through, which is why you'll see some X's. And I didn't have any issues with, you know, what he's putting. A lot of it, again, was who, like board president or superintendent. I think in terms of this first reading, the things that one of the things that was sort of clearly an option throughout it, and it looked like at the beginning, and I think for most things we have always done this, is whether or not we want to allow a hearing. And we indicated in the beginning of it that we are. And I guess we don't have to, but I think that has always sort of been with most things. We've always allowed hearings, whether it's for expulsion or whatever, we have done that. So I would say, I agree with that. In saying that though, going through it, I noticed there were a couple times that we missed, or he missed, in terms of continuing that, so that will be one of the things. This will come to the policy committee again, and we can iron out some of that, but I guess as a group tonight, we have to just come to the consensus of a few things, and then we will make sure all of this falls into it. The first would be a hearing. I think we have a consensus with that. The other was, in here, we have designated that the Title IX coordinator would be the district administrator and the building principal of the high school. We have the two listed. And then going through this, again, there was a lot of language that if it is the district administrator that is, you know, being investigated, then, and so then it would be the other one, and then sometimes reporting to the board president and that kind of thing. So I guess the consensus I'd want to have tonight with this first reading is, I think it's important to have two, and do we feel that those would be the two appropriate people?
Well, you'd have a one, and then, and then if that person's not there, then you go to the next one?
I think it means that either one.
Either one, okay.
Either one, and they both need to be educated.
Yep, okay.
And then there is also information in here that is checked, that he checked, that the
Yep.
board all needs
Yep.
to be educated on it, which we will need to figure out what process that is, who's
Yeah.
gonna do that. I don't know if maybe WASBA or CISA or something has something that, maybe there's something online, I don't know, we'll
I'm
investigate that.
not sure, because this is a new policy for everyone.
Right, yeah. So
I
I
can
think
check and
that
see,
will
so.
be a stay tuned, but other than that, I guess if everybody does everybody have their packet with them? I can refer to a page number. There were a couple, I think you probably noticed, there was a duplicate page and a couple other things that were stapled wrong, at least my packet was. Under page 14, when they get into the sanctions and consequences, informal discipline, formal discipline, does anybody have strong feelings about that? Because they have including, but, and it's the may be imposed, if you notice the may be.
Yeah.
I think most of them certainly could apply. Obviously, in our school district, this would be one of those examples, we don't have Saturday school, so
No.
that would never be something. But my feeling is there's no downside to putting the things that might apply.
Sure.
May be imposed,
Could include, yeah.
to give people an idea. So I thought anything that absolutely doesn't apply to our school, like
Right.
Saturday school, we wouldn't put, but I don't see any reason why we shouldn't elect all of the other ones. I guess that, and we can discuss that further in our committee, but again, just as part of a first reading.
So, one is preschool. What would that be, preschool? Would that be, they're here at 7 o'clock and you guys gotta take care of them? What would that mean?
I think what that means is something before school, something during lunchtime, something after school. I don't think it's designating what. It's just
Well, it's,
designating a
the only thing,
when.
and I'm worried, preschool, I know teachers have a lot of things to do before school starts.
Right.
So that one I question. You know, what do we wanna put on our staff before school starts
Well,
in the morning?
I don't know that it would be put on the staff, it might be put on the student. I mean, it's very open and vague. and
Very
if-
open and
if-
vague.
And again, this is disciplinary sanctions, consequences may be imposed. I think the intent is to say, we could
We could.
impose something
Okay.
that the student would
And we
need to
could.
do prior to school. It may be imposed,
Okay,
maybe nothing of this will be
and nothing,
imposed.
maybe nothing.
But I think it's, so nobody could come back and say, how can you expect this person to do this before school starts?
Right.
Before school in the morning. Well, it's a disciplinary consequence. So,
Okay.
that's what I'm thinking. Why not just keep all the options open? Doesn't mean we'll use any of them. We might,
True.
because we also it does get into that we have the option to do whatever is appropriate or whatever the
Okay.
advisors. So I guess that would be for page 14, and then if you jump to 16, there are some of the same kinds of things, because they divided into student, they divided into non-student, non-employee member of the school district community. They had all those definitions. So that would apply to third-party people and whatever. I'm thinking the same thing. Why wouldn't we keep all those options?
Yeah.
I mean, why not? Because it's may be imposed.
Yep.
But it's in writing then, and if we want to impose it, then,
We don't have to.
That
no.
word may is a very powerful word.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it gives some kind of structure to what
Right.
might happen.
Right.
And I think that when somebody's reading a policy, I mean, this will be a little easier to read, it'll still be long
Once it's clear,
online.
yeah.
But when all the different options and everything are out of it, it'll be a little bit easier. And then again, on page 15, I guess this was my out of order thing. Yeah, went 16, 15, same thing, just different, options again, just for a different group, and it would be the same thing, I
Yep.
think.
Okay.
So, unless it would be something that would be completely not applying. Then there were just some other little things of filling in recommendations of timing
Yeah.
that we can discuss at the committee level. Unless there is anything else that anyone on the board would like to bring up as this first reading that I have not brought up. Okay, well, we will be approving it during our, so if you have questions, something that comes up, we can discuss it further then. And then we had our charter school committee meeting, which basically, as everyone knows, there is a charter governance board. So we are the authorizing unit, but they are sort of the working unit in terms of determining things, and but they have to sort of go through us for running certain things past us. So, and because they are part of the district, things like the handbook and that kind of thing that applies to their students, we have to approve as a district and as a board. So we saw their student handbook. It's doesn't, it applies to some of the specifics to ABA, but a lot of it is also very similar to anything that the other student handbooks are. The ABA enrollment that they would like to do, basically informed us that they had decided as a governance board and as a team was a cap of 45 students for the 2022-23 school year. We have like 30,
Right now, we're 8, but there's a couple that I said.
okay. So, so we have some, obviously openings for new people to come in, but do not want to change it so fast that, that it overwhelms our ability to staff it appropriately and do planning and that kind of thing. Fund allocations and resources basically haven't changed from our original decision. They did request that we approve a line item in Fund 46 for them to use in particular, and basically it would allow them, if they have extra funds, to put it in as we do in our Fund 46 to plan for some future thing that they might need the funds
Expense.
for, right?
Okay.
But that in Fund 46, it would be delineated as their money, have their own line item,
Okay.
so that they wouldn't, it wouldn't be necessarily mixed, because if it was from their extra funds, they would be able to put it in their rainy day fund for what they might need to use it for.
Just so you know, Chris, it's a fund for projects. We put it in there, but we had to keep it in there for 5 years before we could use it.
Okay.
That was the deal with that fund.
Yeah, and we have, as a district, completed that 5 years, so we can and do continue to add to it. But we can now access it, and they would not have to, being part of the district, they would not have to wait 5 years to use their funds. But we did ask that, as we had to have sort of a plan, an idea of what those funds are gonna be used for, that we asked that they would do the same thing, and they were gonna bring that back to their governance board. And so, let's see, what else? The other thing, being that, again, one of the big things that charter school, that DPI and the state has encouraged regarding charter schools is that it offers a school system the opportunity to try things on a small scale, and then if they are successful, maybe incorporate them in the rest of the school system. So one of the things that they have just consistently found to be working really well is the math program that they are using in Algoma Venture Academy. And they feel that it would be a wonderful resource for our math teachers in the traditional or legacy, or whatever you want to call it, regular school, to use. Not to replace the teachers, that's not the intention, but because it has been such a successful way, it is something that we really should look at, because I think different students at real different levels of understanding of math have shown real good, real success with the program. And so I think it's a perfect example of how the charter school can benefit. Math is always a challenge for any school system. And I know we always try all these different wild ways. I don't remember the name of the math program that they tried on me when I was younger.
I knew, it was everyday math, I think that's what we teach now, and it was connected math for the 7th and 8th grade. Is that what we have?
I don't know what we have in 7th and 8th grade, but we have everyday math,
Yeah.
grades 3 through 6.
Yeah, I know whatever I had, I don't know that, I felt, the thing about math is if you truly don't master every piece of it, as a building block for the next piece,
You're lost.
you're lost.
Yep.
So even if you manage to pass the grade and the course and even maybe get a good grade, if you haven't really, really understood some of that, then you get into the higher level math classes and you are stuck. And I think this program that AVA uses does not let that happen. You know, all the foundational pieces that are important have to be mastered before you can move on. And I think that's the key.
So what are they teaching at the charter school? What kind of
They
math?
use-
It's an online program called Alex Math.
Say that again?
Huh?
What, say that again?
It's an online program, it's called Alex, ALEKS, Math.
Yeah, it's online, but basically it then also then involves a coach person available. I mean, so it would be utilizing a lot more online with our regular teachers, particularly for those kids that just, you know, like, you know, in any classroom of 25 kids, maybe half of them are really getting what the teacher is saying and moving along. And the other half,
Needs a little more help. Would we
Right.
start that from first grade on, kindergarten on? I mean, is that a program?
this is really a, well, I don't know, it's my
I'm not
understanding.
sure how well it goes. I mean, we'll definitely be utilizing it at Pathfinder next year for sure, because we have very limited math resources for that.
Yeah, so basically, for sure, probably middle school on, which is usually where you start getting into some of that. But I think, you know, when we find something that works, we need to make it available to a wider audience.
Yeah, I agree.
And make the math teachers aware of it, and so that
So
for
we're
some, not maybe all of their students, but some of their students could utilize it with their coaching.
Are we looking at making that changes for the next school year?
I think that that's something that probably the leadership team will be talking over the summer and
See how we can make it
seeing.
work?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it'll be a ton of students, but I think there's a certain population of students that would benefit from.
Yeah, I mean, that's the idea.
Okay.
So, so that's exciting to already, you know, given charter school's so new and we've already found something that might be a jewel for the rest.
It is very helpful. My daughter has chosen to allocate her time resources, so she does almost all of her math at home on the weekend, which means I've done a lot of math myself. And the way it walks you through everything, so and if you're not getting it, you know, then it brings it back up to you and walks you through it again. It's been very helpful. I think it would be useful for a lot of students.
Nice endorsement.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, you know, parents, you know. I mean, my kids didn't have the same program that I had, whatever, and, you know, I was like, I'm not the one to ask for help.
I couldn't help my youngest with his everyday math multiplication because I did not know what the heck they were trying to teach. Had not a clue.
So anyway.
Couldn't get it.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be on the parents. I mean, that's not you know, that's not what should be happening. The idea is we should have a tool that works for the students and the teachers here and give the kids what they need.
But if they need help at home, your parents are their resource.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, absolutely, and always have been, always will be. But we shouldn't expect them to, you know, be the Wizard of Oz and know all.
Well,
You really don't have to, though, with this program. That's the great thing. You learn right along.
Yes. Okay, moving on. Current COVID statistics were 000. So
nope,
that's-
we have 4.
Oh, we did?
I looked
New
this
ones?
morning.
They're back
Oh.
this week, but last week they had 4.
They're what?
So they're all back this week, but we had 4 in high school this week.
Yeah,
Okay.
I check every day.
But it's 0 today.
Oh, nice.
That's
Carrie
what I was
probably couldn't update it, she's at Camp U.
Oh, okay, I check in the morning.
Won't be updated until probably.
So we're at 0?
Yep. Other items for discussion? Anything? We sort of covered all of the other items with all the fun items. All right, we'll move on to action items. I need a motion to approve the regular board meeting minutes of April 25th, 2022, the public relations marketing Committee meeting minutes of May 5th, 2022, the Safety Committee meeting minutes of May 6th, 2022, the Policy and Practice Committee meeting minutes of May 16th, 2022, and the Charter School Committee meeting minutes of May 16th, 2022.
So move.
I second.
Motion made by Pat, seconded by Jennifer. Questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Dave?
Aye.
Motion carries. I need a motion to approve the bills that were presented to us.
Also move.
I still move.
Okay,
And you'll second? All right, motion made by Dave, seconded by Ann. Any questions or discussion on those? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. I need a motion to approve the WIAA 2022-23 membership.
So move.
Motion made by Chris. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Mick. Questions or discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I need a motion to approve the food service agreement.
I so move.
Motion made by Jennifer. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Ann. Any discussion on that one? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I need a motion to approve the 2022-2023 CISA 7 contract.
So move.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Pat, seconded by Chris. Questions or discussion on that?
You know, I am thinking that Colleen, that's one thing that will be up for discussion when I meet with her in August. And I think they want to get back into our school a little bit more, but, you know, they've got to show that they can do it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
and, you know,
Yeah,
so we'll have that discussion.
great.
And then, you know, we might,
Well, you have all the history. I mean.
I have all the history.
Yeah, so that's good.
And I've talked to her about this once before, but she wasn't, you know, heading it up, so now she's heading it up, so.
See what happens.
Yeah.
So is this something we have to approve now, or is it better to
No.
wait until?
No, we are going to approve the contract as presented now.
Yeah. We can always add.
We can always add if there is something that,
And the services we get from them are so limited. Yep.
We used to do more.
What?
but we used to also pay more and then not necessarily get
Well,
what
and they
we paid
changed
for.
they changed their way of, you know, doing things. They gave, you know, you paid for a block of service, you know, and then you paid for that block and they couldn't deliver. Especially to, you know, to our school, is what we found out. So that didn't set very well.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I need a motion to approve the Neola policy updates.
I'll move.
I second.
Okay, motion made by Ann, seconded by Jennifer. Questions or discussion on the policies listed on your agenda? Hearing none? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I need a motion to approve the first reading of PO 2266 Title IX regulations.
I so move.
Motion made by Jennifer. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Chris. Any additional questions? This, of course, will be going back to committee and we'll spruce it all up and then it'll come back for final approval. All right, let's see, we had a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I need a motion to approve the Algoma Venture Academy line item in Fund 46.
I'll move.
Motion made by Ann. Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Pat. Questions or discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I need a motion to approve the ABA student handbook.
So move.
Motion made by Chris, do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Ann. Questions or discussion on that?
Yeah, is there a specific handbook for them?
Yes.
There is.
Do we get to see it?
Did I, was I,
Yeah, I don't think I got one.
yeah, I didn't,
You had to print it out.
Oh, gotcha.
There's a link, yes.
oh,
There's a link.
I'd give you mine, but I had a terrible time printing it.
okay, because I did not
But-
know we had to print
I don't
it.
recall
Take,
ever seeing
take it
it
and
either.
give it
Yeah, I
back
don't
to
remember
me.
seeing it either.
Oh, it's pretty lengthy. I mean, how does it compare to, is it
Um,
pretty similar to,
Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of it kind of aligns with,
yeah.
Yeah, there's just a couple of things that they took out and added in, and
Just to make it specific to Algoma Venture
Okay.
Academy.
all right, I'll print mine out then when I get home. Okay,
Yeah.
mine would print up to page 15 and stop. I was very unhappy.
Yeah, but it is available as a link, so you
Okay.
can just look at it that way.
so who
And
seconded that? I'm sorry, I didn't catch it.
Motion and a second, who,
Chris,
I think I did,
yeah, you
Did I-
did,
Who did
I
second?
think you
Ann?
seconded,
Okay.
yeah, I think
Okay.
it was Chris and Ann.
all right, thank you.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We don't have any changes to the COVID mitigation practices. Any requests for future agenda items?
Not yet.
Yeah, going into the summer is,
Yeah.
okay. I need a motion to go into executive session under Wisconsin statute 19.85 subsections 1, C, E, F, and I for the purpose of personnel matters, hires, staffing, resignations.
I so move.
Motion made by Jennifer, do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Pat, roll call vote, Dave,
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yep.
Chris?
Yes.
Yes.
And
Yes.
Pat?
Yes.
And I also say yes.